To recap, this is Tony and Julian. They met a few years ago, and once they got past that awkward shake hands or fist bump stage, they found they really enjoyed working together and opened a restaurant. They hired me to help them make money, and now they're learning how to cost food accurately. So far, we have talked about some of the basics and converted one of Julian's home recipes into one that is restaurant-proof. The purpose of this lesson is to review how to determine the ways we measure ingredients and converting measurements and recipes. As a rule of thumb, weight is the easier item to calculate since most products are purchased by the weight. Proteins are almost always purchased by how much it weighs. You will rarely calculate cost by 8 each chicken breasts. It will be calculated by 40 ounces of chicken, 8 individual breasts weighing 5 ounces each. Generally, fruits, vegetables, proteins, and grains are purchased and calculated by weight. Canned items are typically calculated by volume, in fluid ounces, or by quarts and gallons. For these reasons, the most common measuring tools are found here. Scales, measuring by the pound or the ounce, can either be a spring scale or a digital scale. Measuring cups like the clear ones are intended for fluids and can range from a 2-cup measure to 2 gallons. The metal measuring cups and spoons tend to be used more for dry goods, like flours and sugar. This lesson I learned from one of my cooks. He was training someone new and asked John, the new guy, to put his palm out and cup it. He said, "If you would use that palm up as a cup to hold or scoop up the item, then you measure by volume. If you were to go palm down to grab or hold that item, then you're measuring weight." It has stuck with me ever since. Palm up equals volume. Palm down equals weight. Before we convert the recipe itself, we need to know how to do the conversions. Now we can better assess amounts and ingredients needed. Remember Julian's family recipe? We changed pinch to a measuring spoon since that is a small form and we can scoop it out of the container. The veggies and meats are now counted by weight since we pick those up. Finally, we didn't leave anything to chance since liberally can mean something different to Julian as it does Tony. Since we will typically buy items in bulk sizes, we may need to convert these items into usable recipe measurements. For example, Tony and Julian are buying black pepper by the 5-pound canister. They will typically use it in quantities by the measuring spoon. This canister is technically a gallon. If that canister is $25.95, but they are using only 1 cup for the adobo recipe, then they would divide $25.95 by 16 to learn that it costs them $1.62 for 1 cup of black pepper, or 10 cents for every tablespoon. Knowing your conversions is a large part of calculating your recipe costs and executing recipes. The good news? You don't have to memorize them. There are plenty of converter apps and cheat sheets you can post around your kitchen. Get comfortable with your conversions and doing some of this math. In the next video, we will discuss finding the costs of each ingredient and sourcing the best pricing.